up, everybody? I'm Jay, and welcome to Church News, where we report on what God is doing in us and through us. Church News is a place where we share stories about people knowing God, growing in freedom, discovering their purpose, and going out into our communities and the world to make a difference. Today we got a couple stories for you that on the surface may seem simple, but they're stories we can all connect with. First, Adam is going to share a story about God working through someone with a not-so-great attitude. And then I'll follow up by introducing you to Brandy, who is awesome and has a story that might be similar to your own. So here we go.
Hey, what's up, friends? Adam Bush here. Got another really cool story for you. It's about this guy. Allow me to introduce you to Tim. Tim has been going to our church for over 20 years, so he's really into our church. But one of the things that he's been apprehensive about is joining a small group.
I guess I'm kind of a little bit of an introvert. I'm not a touchy-feely guy, and so when I think small group, I think, sit around, pouring your feelings out and all that kind of stuff. That's a little awkward for me.
So, after much prodding, Tim's wife gets him to join a volleyball small group. So they play volleyball on Sunday nights, and then after the games, they huddle up and have small group conversations.
We get there and, at the end of, playing for a couple hours or whatever, we break up into small groups and sit around and talk and do all that kind of stuff. So I asked her, I said, why do y'all do that? It's like everybody's here to play volleyball. It's kind of awkward. And that's just, it's a small group and, that's just kind of part of it. I'm looking at this as, okay, we're going to be out here sweating and running and doing all this stuff. And now we're going to sit down in a circle and talk about God, I'm like, I don't want to do this. I just want to keep playing volleyball.
So Tim knows most of the people in the group, but there's one guy he didn't know.
I think I asked him, how long you been going to church here? And it just kind of started a conversation with him a little bit. I'm sitting here thinking, I don't think this guy is saved. Started explaining the gospel. It was really easy to share that with him at that moment. And so I just remember, going home that night, feeling so great that somebody got to hear the gospel, but also feeling pretty bad that here I had such a bad attitude and God used me anyway.
Not only did Tim get to share the gospel with someone, but he led him to Christ, and then his friend got water baptized. It's a pretty awesome ending to a story that began with Tim's not-so-great attitude. Looks like Tim got served. Come on, that's funny.
It is kind of humbling for me to think that God would use me in that situation when I really didn't want to be used at that moment.
This story is a great reminder that God can use us in spite of ourselves. All we have to do is take a step, even if we're a bit reluctant. Thanks, Tim, for allowing God to use you and for sharing your story.
In those moments of uncomfortableness, take the step anyway. The small group settings, there's times where it's not easy, but it does throw you to a place that you wouldn't go on your own.
Some of our favorite stories involve amazing people right here in our church, like our good friend Brandy. Brandy's story starts in 2006 when after 5 years of marriage, her and her husband had their first kid.
Our oldest was diagnosed with really bad food allergies. And so roughly about when he was 16 or 18 months old, I had to quit my job. So I became a stay-at-home mom, taking care of a kid, trying to manage a home, trying to manage the finances. And that was a little bit of a struggle.
Brandy loves that she's a mom, but over the years as her family grew, it took so much out of her that she really didn't know what she was good at anymore. Then someone invited her to the Next Move. Next Move is a place where you can get connected to our vision, learn about your gifts, and meet people who can help you take your next step.
So the Next Move really confirmed things for me in learning what your spiritual gifts were and then how to use them. And then you see how some of the gifts that God has put into you are so innate, like you've been doing them for years. You just never knew it was a gift that God gave you. And so for me, my main spiritual gift is the gift of hospitality. When my mindset, I think that means you got to go to somebody's house and cook for them and clean for them. And one of the things that I learned is that that's just having a welcoming personality. That for me was so freeing because I felt like it's cool for me to be me. I don't have to try to be somebody else. I don't have to try to fit in. I'm exactly how God created me to be, and He gave me these gifts for a reason.
Brandy found her next step. Today, she loves being a table coach at our central campus with Next Move and has led a small group.
It's just amazing how when you take that one step, how He leads you on that path and He continues to lead you. Next Move is for a lot of people. It's that step that opens the door for them to be able to do so much more.
Brandy, thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for taking a step towards introducing people to the real Jesus.